Something is clearly changing in our culture. Many parents can feel, but it's hard to describe exactly what it is. Tonight, we're talking about what it actually takes to raise strong sons in a culture that increasingly resists standards, discipline, and truth. I'm Coach Benjamin Carey, president of Long Island Elite Football and host of the Byronic Heroes podcast. I live in what many of you know as one of the softest and most entitled areas of the country, Long Island, New York. It's well known for lacrosse, but it is not a football region by any stretch of the imagination. Historically, nepotism, politics, and daddy ball ran rampant, and there was no such thing as a merit-based program for young football kids. So back then, about 15 years ago, I started an elite travel football program that mirrored the top programs in the South and in the West. People called my partner and I crazy at the time. They said it was too advanced for kids, too obsessive, etc. Against the odds and amidst much protest, I coached my son and his teammates from the time they were 5 years old and up. Many of them went on after high school to play at the top colleges in the country. My son played for the top high school in New York and was later recruited to play his last 2 years of high school at IMG Academy. So he's one of the most recruited players to ever come out of New York, and he recently committed to the University of Georgia. The success we've had with this program, not just with my son, but dozens of local players, it's not because of Benjamin Carey. It's not because of me. It's not because of my partner, Gerald Filardi, who played for the Steelers and played for Penn State. It's due to the like-minded people, the shared ideologies, and the collaboration we've created. A culture that not only develops X's and O's, but believes in raising strong sons with good character. That is the most important part of the work we do. So tonight is a special live episode of my Byronic Heroes podcast, Raising Elite Sons in a Soft Culture. I wanted two perspectives for this conversation, a father and a mother, both experts who work closely with high-achieving parents and kids. Joining us are two nationally recognized experts on the topic. I have Coach Devin Washington, founder of Fitness King 360, one of the fastest growing athlete platforms in the country. Devin's had more than 15 years of experience training and has coached everywhere from high school championship programs to the national 7v7 circuit, developing athletes who've gone on to play at the collegiate level. I don't know how many of you follow him on social media, but his truth-driven content has reached millions by cutting through the hype and showing parents and athletes what real development and real recruiting actually look like. Devin doesn't coach trends, he coaches standards. My other guest is Laura Majors. Laura Majors, a former Division I athlete, Inc. 5000 CEO, and Mama 4, who turned her own home into a real-world leadership lab for raising confident, emotionally strong kids. As the creator of the Happy Life System, she teaches families how to replace daily chaos, power struggles, and repeated reminders with simple, structured habits that build responsibility, resilience, and connection. Her play-based approach helps parents lead their homes with clarity and calm while preparing their children to become capable, disciplined, and socially confident adults. So guys, what changed in the culture? What changed to bring us to where we're at? Do you feel like something has changed in how boys are being raised today?
For sure. Go ahead. You go ahead. Ladies first.
I have 3 boys, and I believe that there has been a dumbing down of society, keeping us in lack and limitation, laziness, demotivation with social media, right? You could sit at home, you could get a DoorDash, you could get whatever, and it's all part of the program. And for me, raising boys, there's this gentle parenting that has been running rampant, and it's weakening kids to not believe in their own capability, right? For them not to step into their own empowerment. And the issue is that it's really on the parents. The parents are the ones that are hindering the children from stepping into their greatness. So we have to take our power back as parents. I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing, being a mother to 3 boys. When I say my kid's name, they say, yes, mom. They don't say what to me. They say, yes, mom. Gentle parenting is What do you need? What do you want? What are your feelings, right? This has been a consciousness that has taken over our children. And to me, that's a big piece of this conversation. That's why I love talking to men about this, because it's the boys that we need to raise the standard of beingness. You are going to fall. You are going to trip. It's the resilience that's part of life. There's no elevator to success. You got to take the stairs. And what we're doing as a culture is taking the stairs away. And it's inhibiting kids, mental illness, obesity, right? Depression, suicide at an all-time high in our history. Why?
No, for sure. I mean, I agree with you. I truly feel like comfort has replaced discipline. Kids, athletes, whatever you want to call it, parents, let's be honest, are the problem. At the end of the day, they're not in uncomfortable environments anymore. Kids are busy, but they're not developing. And I think that's super important for parents and athletes to understand that they're not in uncomfortable environments, and that causes a problem later down the road for the athlete and obviously parent being the problem. So I agree.
And the overprotection with parents wanting to just solve everything for them instantly. And I mean, listen, times are different, right? So it's a double-edged sword. Times are definitely different. But you know, when I was a kid, it was nothing to walk a few blocks down to the store or what have you. And I realize everybody's neighborhood's different. Everybody's circumstances are different. But even the people who live in good neighborhoods and the kid can walk 10 blocks to go down to the store, they're not doing that because they're too lazy to do it, or the parents are driving them. And it's just like, there's become this layer of overprotection that when I was growing up, it was different. It wasn't like that.
And I always think to myself, like today, I'll give you a prime example of the standard. It's really changed, right? We got kids that don't open their mouth when you talk to them. And that's a no-no for me. That's a red flag. I expect you all the time when you walk into a facility, when you walk into a store, when you walk into a church, you open your mouth and you speak. You say, yes, ma'am. You say, no, sir. And I had a kid come in today, and I said, hey, how you doing? He actually laughed. He actually looked down. Like, come on, man, where's the standard? So yes, the standard has definitely changed since I've grown up, for sure.
Yeah, and I think like when we step into the level of awareness and peak performance and shaping greatness, like we're all coaches. I coach the young girl Olympic teams. I was in a D1 athlete. I build companies. Like there's a culture. There's a culture and a standard that has to be set. What is that? Values, motto, right? This is how we rock here. This is what we do. And homes aren't doing that anymore. Think about it. Values. This is what our family stands for. Back in the day, it's on the fridge, right? These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the consequence to that. Kids don't have that anymore. And parents are overworked. They're tired. I mean, people that are in my membership, my Happy Life system, global. I mean, I have Australia to Poland to New Zealand to Amsterdam. They're exhausted. And so what's happening is they're giving up on actually raising and shaping greatness. And that's the issue. That's the major issue. It's not the kid. Remember, the kid comes into the world bare naked. It's the environment that shapes them. And the parents are the ones that aren't doing the work. They're not doing the work at home to stabilize the child from the inside out. And so when you see a child come in there that can't make eye contact, that can't respect you, how do you think he's treating his parents? He's doing that to someone outside the home. He's running the show, so it's the standards. It's and I talk about like Charles Darwin, it's not the ones that survive. It's the ones that are adaptable. And when you can adapt and you can shift and you can pivot in your resilience, that's when you unlock true happiness.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you guys follow Goggins, but I love David Goggins. And I mean, the guy is a beast. And he's talking to kids, get off your ass. Like, get off your ass. You're fat. Like, some people need to be told straight up. Like, right? And you know what lives he's changed? He's changed hundreds of lives. Kids are like, thank you. I needed that. But parents are scared to say it. Right. And that's the issue. I don't mean harm, right? I don't mean cruelty, but you can do it in a constructive way where it's out of alignment with the way that this family is. You need to work out, right? Like step into it, but parents aren't doing that.
Yeah, there's a fear of being real with your kids and a fear of discipline and a fear of reality. And, you see it everywhere. I mean, it's in the institutions in society, and this sort of thing has happened over the course of time. And before you know it, look at where we're at with everything. Even, here in New York, we have something called Common Core, and whether you agree with it or not, and it's not even a matter of my own personal opinion, whether I agree with it or not, but somewhere along the line, we gave these kids permission to opt out of tests. And it's not so much whether or not you agree with the Common Core. It's the simple fact that when you start allowing kids and families to opt out of things, like what sort of precedent are you making, and where does it end? Like when I was, listen, some kids are simply better at taking tests than others. That doesn't mean you opt out of it. You study more, you learn habits, and you figure it out. Like nowadays kids can opt out of everything, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I just truly feel like parents want to be friends. Parents are too emotional, and sometimes when you want to be friends with your kids, and you're too emotional about what's going on with your kid, you don't want them to feel a level of discomfort. That's where the problem come in. I always say this all the time when I'm using social media. I talk to parents. I don't talk to kids. I talk to parents, because at the end of the day, when you send your son in here, guess what? Whatever you allowed him to do at home is what he's going to do here. We can't change that. So if your standards are not set the right way at home, then they're not going to be set the right way anywhere else. My son is a senior, and he has a curfew. He has a curfew, but not only that, he has a time he has to go to bed, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't get up on time, you're not going to be mentally focused to do what you need to do. So at the end of the day, the parents need to stop being friends and stop being so emotional and be parents. And I promise you, the standard will follow.
Yeah, but like even with that, like stepping into a place of leadership, like even on my social media, I started my account 10 months ago. I'm at 150 million views, because my position is you are dealing with all of these things because you are out of alignment. Okay. So if your son says, I hate you, and you are the mother, how do you think he's going to treat the women in his life?
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like this all starts with embodiment and alignment. The parents need to get into their power. They've given their power away.
Yeah.
They've given their power away to the schools, to the doctors, to all the things. Take responsibility, right? Like I always talk about this. Like you are their first line. You are the first line of setting the standard. So being your best friend, my kids are my best friends. They got my back. We are a tribe. But guess what? You cross that line, there's a phase 2. There's a phase 2, and they know the phase 2. So that's the standard where it's like, we're not setting that anymore. And so at the end of the day, you guys, humans need discipline. They need structure to be effective people.
They need structure to feel comfortable and confident, 100%.
Like I got sent a podcast that's going viral the other day, and the mom was like, they're kids, let them do whatever they want, like whatever. She's got teenagers. The kids are scrolling on TikTok. They're eating fast food. They're in front of the TV, and she's just drinking her wine. And I'm like, is this what the world has come to? Stop having kids. Like, stop. Right?
Listen, it's entitlement versus responsibility. One thing a lot of parents and coaches talk about is the rise of entitlement. And again, I live in Long Island, New York, which I believe is one of the epicenters of entitlement. And Lauren, I was immediately attracted to your style of leadership and the content you put out before we even knew each other. I'd see your posts come across, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. And anybody listening, if you
that people won't say, I'm not scared.
100%.
I'm not scared. I'm going to tell you straight to your face, you are raising a piece of shit. Okay. And that guy's going to be an asshole. And he's going to treat women like shit. I'm not afraid to say it. No one will say it. Why do you think people haven't tackled parenting the way that I'm tackling it? There's a wake up. We need to raise warriors, because at the end of the day, we are in a pussy culture, and I'm not going to stand for it. As many kids as we can help rise, we have to. And that's the issue, is I trigger people to like your son is 12 years old, and he is telling you what he wants to eat, that he's not going to make your bed. People are asking me, am I too far gone? I'm like, you're just going to give up on your 12-year-old and just let him take over? Wow. Like, that is the crazy concept.
Mm-hmm. I see it all the time, man. You'd be surprised some of the conversations, some of the looks that you get from some of these kids, and some of the things that they say and some of the things that they do. And you say to yourself, if you don't consistently say it or do it in front of me, I know you're doing it at home. Because when I was coming up, if you did something wrong and you were right down the road, whoever the mom was, she would call my mom and say, hey, I whooped Devin ass because he was out here doing what he wasn't supposed to do. And my mom was okay with it. Nowadays, you can't do that. Parents will come to the school, even if you talk to a kid and show them some sense of discipline, some sense of, hey, I run the show. They'll go make a social media post and try to blast you for doing something you're not doing as a parent. So it's different.
The kids today, they're expecting outcomes without putting the work in, and you have the parents interfering too much, and like I said, trying to make things easy for them and trying to solve everything for them and protecting them from failure, and the capacity to pivot has vanished, right?
Yep.
One small issue, one small challenge, it's meltdown city for a lot of these kids and parents, and the kids watch the parents, right? The kids watch the parents, and if things don't go the way, again, using football as a platform because I'm very familiar with it, things don't go the way that parent wants them to with positions or playing time or whatever it is. They're on and they're packing up their bags and they're on to the next program and the next coach. And, the kids see that and it instills something in the kids. And those are the kids getting in the car, riding home, and the parents, no matter if they did a terrible job at practice or they did a spectacular job, it's the same conversation. You're great, you're great, you're great. Oh, yeah. And there's no accountability and there's no reality behind those conversations. And that's why we're at where we're at.
For sure. Yeah.
I talk about like in going deeper on that, like if you want to expand that, like how is it that we're so disconnected from self that we're living vicariously through our children, every single thing, right? Like I'm so disconnected. I'm so living out of alignment. I don't have any purpose in my life that I have to go and coddle my kid and make sure he's protected. It's because people aren't happy. 92% of people walking around in the world, it is recorded, they are unhappy people. 8% of people are only happy. So then when they invest in their kids and they try to save their kids and then they overprotect and they, right?
we know that youth sports, and I always say this, I worked on Wall Street during an IPO for a big company. And I always say that I have seen people do worse things to each other, the parents, over youth football or youth sports than I saw during $1 million acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions on Wall Street. These people sit behind each other in church at the local parish and just over youth sports do the worst things to each other. And, fast forward 5 or 10 years down the road. And what was the point? Like none of these kids are
top recruits,
like, they're lucky if they played Division III and lasted a semester. And meanwhile, there's a trail of burned relationships and all sorts of things over youth sports. It's silly. It makes no sense at all.
It's delusional. Kids are busy, right? They're busy, but they're not developing. I mean, I heard a guy say, I think I saw him posted on Facebook yesterday, and he's literally the coach, but obviously a couple of his kids plays on the team. But how are you playing 11 months of youth football? 11 months out of the year, you're playing youth football, and parents are too delusional with being busy and not focused on development. So the whole structure of trying to teach parents standards, it's just not there, man. And like I said,
and that was the reason too, Devin, to your point, like why I invented what I did 15 years ago. So my entire Happy Life system is like self-mastery, right? With 150 skills, habits, and responsibilities in 8 different pillars: home, body, mind, kindness, courage. It's like you can't tell a kid go be courageous. They have to move into the action. That's intrinsic motivation, right? Like you have to move into the action to experience what courage is.
For sure.
And parents aren't allowing their kids to fall, learn about that, and get back up. They're interfering that pattern. So it's like humans have to go through those experiences. But like the overworking, right? The kids, they're not even connected. Like they don't even know really what's going on. They're more concerned about the to-do list than raising, or like you said, developing the character traits in the human so they can actually be a happy person.
There you go.
Regardless of sports, right?
Yep, I agree. Parents are removing the struggle. Parents are removing the struggle, and kids need to feel that struggle for sure.
Yeah, they need to be told the truth. The parents need to be told the truth. Like you said, you gave an example before, right? Your kid's terrible, or he needs to work on this, this, and this. Like there's a way to say it. But a lot of parents, they don't want to hear it.
It's funny, like we talk about my kids laugh at me because they're like, Mom, there's only first place trophies here. I'm like, there's only first place trophies. Like second and third and fourth and fifth. No. Like we don't rock, like, you know what I mean? Like, when did that become a thing? Where a kid is now having like in his room, third place, fifth place, look at my trophies. I'm like, wait, you didn't win. Like
even in football, Devin, you could appreciate this. And I'm sure in the sports that you coach, you can appreciate the type of parents, all they care about is a trophy. They would rather play on a tournament team that goes away, stacked with the top players, no development really to get these kids ready for high school and actually teach them so that they have a high football IQ when they're going into high school for football or any other sport for that matter, chasing trophies and going to the one-off tournaments and that sort of thing. And those kids, when they get in high school, they're nothing like the kids that have been through a true developmental program.
No. And that's the trend nowadays, trends of parents, delusional parents that don't know anything about what's going on. They're chasing top programs just to be a part of a top program. And then you get on the top program and you play, let's just say you play on a 7-on-7 circuit, right? You play on this 7-on-7 circuit. You spend $300 for the weekend for the hotel. You spend $200 or $300 for food, and you don't even play. What's the point in being on the team? How are you getting exposure?
Oh my God.
I always tell parents, if you really want to know the truth, if you really want to feel the emotion of the truth, reality of the situation, ask the question. Ask, why is my son not playing? What does he have to do to get better?
Yeah, thank you.
You're not going to ask that question, and they're going to keep collecting your money because they're selling you dreams. And
listen, if you live in Long Island or Orange County, they're asking that question, and then they're not going to like the answer. And in my experience, they're packing their bags and they're on to the next team.
Right.
And those specific parents probably have 20 other leagues they were part of that they did the same thing at.
Well, I'm saying
back in my, like, sorry to interrupt you, but when I played soccer, right? So I got a full ride scholarship. I started from, when I was young. There was one team. There wasn't A, B, C, D, E. You got to make the roster and be on the squad of 20.
Right.
That's it. You know what I mean? There's other clubs, but now they have the A team, the B team, the C team. It's all business.
Just to keep you on the team. If I'm on the B team, the C team, then that probably means I'm not that good.
I'm not that good. I need to reconsider.
I need to reconsider the investment that I'm spending, maybe spend it individually on getting my son better, but because parents are confused, delusional, they keep chasing something they'll never get. I'm seeing youth athletes that play on 3 and 4 AAU teams, 7-on-7 teams. So what are you teaching really to your athlete or your son? Are you teaching them to jump from team to team? Are you teaching them how to fight? Are you telling them the truth? Look, son, you're not that good. You're below average. We need to really probably focus on this or that. You got these kids wearing Georgia gloves. You got them wearing Alabama gloves, and they don't even start for their high school, middle school, youth team. But that's the trend. That's the delusional of parents that
you
don't
want to know, like you saying this, you want to know the one thing that pisses me off at the highest level. Like, this is the highest level of sports, is when you see a parent after a kid plays, pick up their bag and their water bottle and carry it off the field. I'm like, what are you like? Are you like, come on, Johnny, like, let's go. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. The kid is 14 years old. Like, this is like going back to entitlement, going back to it's the interference of not raising a capable human.
Listen, I've seen just the absolute worst of the worst of it. When I first started coaching 15 years ago and I was naive, I remember having a 7 or 8 correspondence email back and forth with a mother who, we have a parade every year in the town I used to live in, and it was a really big to-do, and the players marched in the parade, and we thought it was great just to get the word out about the program, to have kids march in the parade in full equipment. The younger kids, they love seeing the kids in shoulder pads and the helmet. It was a great way to market and drive new enrollments and that sort of thing. This mother, so it was probably a half mile to walk down into town. This mother went on and on, how she didn't want her son to have to, this is a true story, and I got a million of them. I won't go into them all, but the mother must have emailed me back and forth 7 times because I was dumb enough to actually entertain this woman, that she didn't want her son to have to carry his helmet down the hill. It was too much for him. No joke. Literally 7 emails. Now I wouldn't even have that conversation, but I was trying to reason with her. There's, 100 other kids in the program that are going to be carrying their helmet. It's really not that far. Like, he's going to be okay. And
like, why do I have to justify to you?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to justify to you. You want to be part of my program. I remember when I was coaching the soccer, I sat all the parents down and I said, listen, this is my show. Okay. They've hired me. I'm coaching. This is the philosophy. It's like, if we go back, right, to the greatest coaches, we got the Zen philosophy from the Lakers, right? There's a philosophy. And the thing nowadays is that parents have so much power, right? They have so much power, influence, and money and capitalism. It's like, I don't need to take $1 from you. It doesn't matter about the money, right? This is our philosophy.
I always tell people, we'll refund you. No, and then I say, you know what? We won't refund you. We'll give you double the money back if it's not the right program. And before the year even starts, I honestly have gotten 15 years of doing this in this region. Man, it's been a lot. And I have parent meetings now, and I purposely try to scare people away. Like, I want you to know that you are not a fit for this program. Like you said, if you don't agree with this, this, and this, and our philosophy and our ideologies, you know what? If it's not right for you, go play town ball, go play rec ball. But this is how it's going to be. And if it's not for you, that's it. But what about the parents that are involved in some of these programs and the example they set for their kids by packing up and leaving when there's a mistake or things get challenging or the league has a canceled game or any of these different things? These parents just one moment they love you and they're patronizing you. And the first second, like I use this analogy, and you guys could probably appreciate this. It's pretty graphic, but I don't know any other way to put it, especially in regard to the region that I live in. Some of these parents would eat their children like gerbils, like over youth sports, if it could get them an advantage in youth sports. Like, if they could get an edge and they could do something, that's the level. Like, it's absolute insanity. They have no regard for relationships or anything else. And like I said, football ends, soccer ends, gymnastic at some point ends. If you're an Olympic athlete, it ends at some point. And what are you left with? An empty, hollow kid. You're left with a hollow man or woman.
Right. Yeah.
But like soft culture, you were saying, like raising elite sons in a soft culture. I think that's where the awakening's happening. And I could say on my end, Devin, obviously, we're all have social platforms, like the influx of people coming through, they're ready for a change, and I really want to make this positive too. I don't want to make it so, on the parent, but there's parents that are ready to rise because they realize that they've damaged. I've had people come through that are like, I did gentle parenting and I messed up my kid. I don't know what to do. They're open to a new way. So these types of podcasts and platforms are so important because human beings need the structure. They need the foundation. And a lot of the parent problems is this is legacy stuff. Like this is a lot of these parents, they didn't want to deal with their trauma. They didn't want to deal with whatever. So now they'll live through their kid. That's where they're trying to find their happiness. But what they really don't understand is they're disconnected. So it's a lot deeper than what we think. Like it's not, I don't want to ridicule parents. I mean, this is not what it's about, but at the end of the day, they're looking for something that brings them meaning. And whether that's sending you an email, whether that's getting involved, whatever it is, they want some sort of validation. And that's what I feel is they're living through the child to feel some sense of worth or disregarding the child, right? Like you said, where the kid runs the show. So at least he'll be nice to me. You know what I mean? Like it's both sides of this that I see from my experience,
It's just sad to me. Like I said, at the end of the day, I can't stop talking to parents. I can't stop blaming them for what we see because especially, I've been coaching for 7 years, training for 15, and I'm seeing the same cycle over and over. I use this on Facebook, I think it's Instagram the other day, and I was just telling parents, just because your friend, your son is friends with little Johnny, which is a 5-star, it does not matter if he go eats with him. It does not matter if he stay at home with him. It does not matter if you're around him all day. He's not getting recruited by Georgia. He's not getting recruited by Alabama. He's not getting recruited by LSU. But it makes them feel good when they can show the kid emotionally, son, I'm trying to do everything best for you, right? Some parents get upset at coaches, head coaches, because their kids are starting on the defensive side of the ball. But they're upset because they played 7-on-7 at receiver. But they're not getting receiver reps on the team. When you got a 4-star receiver, you got an all-state receiver and an all-district receiver. You're saying that coach don't like your kid. You're saying that coach won't give you an opportunity. Like, how delusional and how I don't get that part.
You're saying delusional, but I just think it's coming from a place of ego, right? There's just so much ego that, I mean, obviously, Ben, you're working with these parents. It's like, it's my show, it's my money. I get to tell you whatever I need to do. And it's like, we've lost sight of looking to other people for wisdom, right? Looking to other people for saying, you know what, to teaching our kids. Like, my son is a national tennis player. He's 13 years old. He's playing in the U14s. He's losing. He's losing. He hasn't won a match in 6 months. It's hard. He's trying,
That's a great point. That's a great point. I'd rather coach or play on a team than went 500. Or listen, I've coached on and played on teams that won one game in an entire season.
Right.
But you learn more from that, and it builds character. You don't get that from the wins.
No.
And that's the thing that, like, parents don't, like, he has to process that.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets bageled 6-0, he has to come off the field. He was off the court. He was crying. I sat with him on the tree. I go, let it out. Let's go. Like, I'm holding space for him, but I can't take his pain away. He has to process that. That's how you raise a leader in a soft culture, right? I sat there with him for an hour. I didn't say, pack your stuff up. I said, tell me what's up. He's like, fucking sucks. He's mad. I'm like, go through it. It's not the wins. The wins are the bright, shiny diamond, it's that
100%. You learn more out of the losses for sure. And like I said, some of the parents would unplug your life support to charge their phones. They just, it's not something they want to be investing the energy in, to have those hard conversations with their kid. And honestly, those are the conversations where the kids actually grow, when they're learning from those losses and they're navigating the real hard stuff, and they're not playing on a team full of stars and chasing a trophy.
Like, I remember it was this last week, and this is a crazy story, but my son was playing doubles, and the one kid, they're down, they're losing in tennis. And the one kid's like, his mindset, because everything I do is positive mental mindset. We focus on peak performance. Like, I'm big on mind, right? The kid starts tanking, and he's telling Parker, don't worry about it. We're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're going to lose, to Parker, my son. And Parker was like, Mom, what do I do? And he gave up. It was literally, they were down 4 games, and he got off. And I said, don't you dare. I said, these are our values. I said, you put your heart out on the line. We showed up at 5 o'clock in the morning for you. Dad was there. Don't you ever walk out on that tennis court and let it ride like that ever again. He's like, okay, Mom. I'm like, the kid influenced him, right? So Parker just kind of deflated. But I had to check him hard on our values. Like, we're not going to wake up in the morning. You could go play down at the court, right? You want us to show up for you? You're going to put it all out there. That's what warriors do. But that was us being intentional, like you said, Ben, is stepping into that uncomfortable coaching, teaching him. He wouldn't know it's any other way.
I'll give you an example of kind of what we do. Like I said, I don't accept anybody. So anytime we open up slots, we only accept so many slots. But something that we do that most people don't do is, first of all, we have standards, and we hold our athletes accountable. So a lot of times when athletes sign up, we get on the call with the parent, and we explain how our program works. But one of the things that we do is we bring these athletes in. They have to bring notebooks. Like, you don't come in here and work out without a notebook. If you forget the notebook, you're going to give me 50 burpees. Everything that you write in your notebook, you have to track it. When I teach you and I design the workout for you, my job is to oversee it, but your job is to hold yourself accountable. At the end of the day, when we looking through notebooks, if you ain't got your numbers as far as what you lifted on the bench press, what you did on the squat, what was your 40 time, what was your goals? They have goals. They have things that they have to accomplish, because what we do is we try to set a standard, but at the end of the day, the parents can hold them accountable. So somebody has to do it. And sometimes, man, it's almost like you have to, some of these guys that I get, sometimes you have to grab their hand almost and tell them where to go because they want you to do it for them. Why do they want you to do it for them?
And some of them aren't getting that at home, you know, like we spend a tremendous amount of time, and those are the things that need to be instilled. Teaching kids how to give a handshake and not be afraid to speak with adults and look them in the eye without feeling uncomfortable, and how to use their Google Calendar to manage their time. And so many, we spend so much time on that off the field stuff, talking to them about branding and ethics. And we go off on a tangent on some of these things just because the sports end at one point. During Thanksgiving, we were talking to them about how to use a dinner napkin. I think there was one kid in 150 kids in the whole program who knew how to use a dinner napkin and how to use his utensils. And we don't have to give a full crash course in ethics and that sort of thing and how to use every single piece, but just basic things. And to your point about instilling responsibility, getting up on time, like the majority of kids in my experience, well, first of all, almost none of them know how to give a proper handshake. Almost none of them set an alarm and get up by themselves in the morning. It's mommy and daddy waking them up, managing their schedules. Like we use TeamSnap. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's a communication thing. And I always tell everyone that joins our program, like your 7-year-old probably has TikTok, most definitely probably has a phone, but they don't have an email address. Email addresses are free. They have no email address. And the parents come in from the town ball programs and they think it's like going to be the gossip portal for how everything is between the parents. And no, man, we teach these kids how to use it and be accountable. Like you need to set your availability. If you're 7 and 8 years old, it's not a hard app to use. You're using more advanced apps than that. And you got to be responsible for all this, because when you get to high school and you get to college, every single thing that we teach in the program is going to carry on with you into adulthood. We're not one of those, a lot of the coaches now, right? Just the entitlement. It's the guys that are friends. It's the popular guys in town. It's not necessarily the most experienced coaches, and they're throwing a ball out. They're not teaching kids anything about responsibility.
And we love to use the word development with everything, but what are we truly developing? I mean, what skill set? I mean, outside of showing up for practice, what are we truly developing? My son knows, like, if he's not a sports player, but at the same time, my son knows when he goes to work in the morning time, what time he go to school, whatever time he has to be at school, he knows he has to be up an hour early, because it doesn't give you time to actually get yourself together. It doesn't give you time to eat breakfast. It doesn't get your mindset right. So it's things that we set out for him to do, that we want to lay that foundation, that standard, so we can make sure we moving forward with what he needs to achieve as well.
My kids have been managing their schedules since I've never woken them up. Like they have their roles and obligations in this family unit. It's that simple, right? Like there's no, people, they just can't believe it. Like my kids, they didn't have phones till they were 16. They had it on a paper, right? They are part of our unit, our family unit. When one falls out, we're a team here, and this is your role and responsibility. So if you don't show up, there's something called choices and consequences, right? That's the outcomes of your choice. But the thing for me was like, how do I create mini CEOs of my home? That was my vision when I became a mom. I was like, roles and responsibilities. How is it that you could walk into a sports team, you can create a company, right? And you have your foundation. You would never just say, oh, let's just wing it and see what happens. And if he gets up on Monday, let's just see, your whole company goes to shit. You have no money, you have no funding, right? Like, how is it that we get into our homes and we allow this thing, like this laziness and this mentality? So for me, I was like, listen, you are capable. Frontal motor skills, right? Your brain, like you have the capabilities to step into your power to own this. This is how you own this. This is what is expected. So that's the foundation that people are just overriding. They're just overriding it. It's incredidible, because the amount of things that I see in my DMs, like you guys, I mean, the emails for you, and I'm sure with you, Devin, but like, it's mind blowing. Like it's actually, my 5-year-old punches me in the face when I tell him he has to get up for school. Okay. So what?
Right.
Like, how is that actually a thing? Like, how is that something
that's okay to say? That's like it's a norm.
How is that okay to ask someone for help around that? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Like, I have compassion, But I don't understand how a situation gets that far to the point where the child's punching you in the face when you're asking him to go to school and he won't go to school. And what is that about? And I think it's become this normalcy within our homes where we don't allow our kids, like the schedule, like you said, that kid coming in, guess what? If he doesn't do what you say, there's a consequence to his action. That's how people learn. I started in the mailroom, right? I was in the office when I was started in corporate America at 6 o'clock in the morning trying to show my boss, you know what I mean? I got a hard work ethic. Right. The work ethic isn't there anymore. It's like bare minimum. You know, like we're all sports athletes. I stayed after practice. I wanted to be the starter. Kids aren't doing that these days. They're grabbing their bag, picking up their phone right after they play a game. They're not putting in the extra time.
Sometimes they'll come into the facility and, you know, they'll say, hey, coach, well, I had left my book in mom car, dad car, so I ain't gonna have it today. I said, man, ask you a question. You got your phone? Oh, yeah, I got my phone. So how do you not process it? Obviously, you don't know when you're training, or you do know when you're training, but you still haven't processed that you don't have your notebook until you got here, and then you give me a excuse, but you don't have a solution to it. Like, how is that normal? How do you want me to sweep that under the rug without addressing it? And they hate for you to address it because they know what I'm about to say is the truth. So I'm big on making sure when we're talking about things like this, especially things that you've done wrong, no, look at me in the eyes. Don't look down now. Don't look at your phone. Don't shake your head. I want you to look at me because you've done something wrong, but you don't want to pay the cost. So
or here's another thing is take ownership. Right? Ownership now. Sure. It's like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Like everything inside, right? It's in my mom's car. It's like, no, but you're responsible. So you have to step into this. This is uncomfortable.
How do you come into the gym with no gym shoes on?
What?
How do you come into the gym with no gym shoes on, but expect to work out? And you think, okay, and that's normal to you? That's not normal. It's not normal. It's not, but those are
it all starts at home, man. It all starts with the parents. And, you know, from the kids showing up in the parking lot 10 minutes late. I watch them when I'm on the field. They show up 10 minutes late and they're walking along the fence. And I see them walking until I start yelling at the top of my lungs that you're late and you should be running. And the other kids that walk in when our administrators are at the check-in desk, and the kids every day have to check in, and occasionally a kid comes in, yo. I'm like, yo, we're not your friends.
Yeah.
It's hi, it's hello. It's not yeah, it's yes. It's yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And in New York, down south, I spent a lot of time down south, and that's a regular thing. Up here in New York, these kids, I'm like, I don't care if you feel nerdy. I don't care if you feel some sort of way. It's yes, sir, or yes, man. And guess what? You're going to say that all the time in this field. And when you're in our presence, 100% of the time. And eventually you're going to get comfortable with that. And what happens is 2-3 years into the program, they come back and, you know, we get the feedback like, oh, who taught him how to do a handshake? He's got a great handshake, or he's so well-spoken, or, you know, those sort of things. And that's why we do what we do.
Remember, like for the rest of their life, you know what I mean? I remember that one coach that did it, like you're the only one because you're taking the time to teach. You're taking the time to lead like a leader. And that right there, I had a kid come in, valedictorian, full ride scholarship from Vanguard University into our media company. And he's like, I go, so how much do you want to make? And he's like, oh, my dad told me $75,000. And I said, your dad told you what? No, he told me when I get straight A's and I get a full ride, that's what I go. I don't give a shit what your dad told you. You'll work wherever you need to work. Like coming in, I go, you got to earn rank. Like what? You're fresh out of college. These people have been here for 10 years. You're trying to throw down a salary to me that your dad told me? Like what? Or told you? I was so confused. And I was like, we're not a good fit. But like, I think the biggest thing is like, and on a positive side is the mentality, like the mentality that we hold is because we know, us three, right? We know that this is what creates and stabilizes healthy individuals. This is not us, you know, talking poorly about all these, but the parents are the ones that are going to have to deal with their children being adults and being unhappy people. They're the ones that are going to suffer the most.
Like, I'm just going to say it straight up. That entitled kid is probably not going to take care of you when you're older. They're going to put your ass in a nursing home. It's facts. I mean, it's real
Facts.
talk. It's real talk, but it's true.
Every day. It happens every day.
You know, think about it. Like,
They're going to move you to a different program, make it easier for them.
Yeah, they're going to jump you to another program with another nurse. No, like, do your kids have your back when you're older? Look at what's happening right now. The majority, and there's data that's showing this, is people between 45 to 55 are putting their parents in nursing homes. Like, I don't want to deal with you. I'll show up when I need to, and it's just being perpetuated down through the legacy.
Yep.
So
it's sad, but it's true. It's reality.
So wrapping it up, guys, I have 3 questions for each of you. Let's have Lauren, you go first. One trait that every young man needs.
Discipline is the foundation of every single thing in life. Discipline, on how you eat, how you think, how you live, what your thoughts are, how you show up. I mean, you don't have discipline, you don't have shit, period. Like, I am so big on the foundation of disciplining yourself. Like, your choices and the outcomes in your life are based off of how disciplined you are.
Right.
I created a company out of my garage raising 4 kids. I was disciplined every day. I showed up 15 hours a day. Do you think it happened overnight? No. But I was steadfast. I was obedient, and my kids know that. And so the biggest thing for me is the trait of discipline carries on to every single aspect of who you are as an individual. You lack discipline, you'll fail in life. That's just straight up.
The biggest mistake modern parents make.
Oh my God. I think we talked about it here. The biggest mistake is, to me, is stepping in, overriding, overdoing, helicopter parenting, micromanaging, and it's the outcome of that is it's actually sad. It's what's causing depression, anxiety, mental illness, disconnection, all of the things. So if parents learn to lead from a place of giving your child autonomy to make the choices and step into their greatness with the guardrails and the structure, they're going to see a different world with their kid. So I mean, for me, modern parenting right now, and the reason why my movement's so big and what I'm doing is because the children are the ones that are suffering. It's because the parents are overriding, stepping in. It's this whole conversation, and the kids are completely out of their mind. And this is from the age of 3 to 25 years old. Like, it's no college degree. It's no accolade on the wall. Parenting is about developing a human. That's what it is. That little human is going to be an adult in the world. That's your number one responsibility. And we're handing it over like it's nothing.
One thing boys need more of.
Grit, fight, work ethic, standards, right? Open that door for a woman. Hold her hand. No Snapchat. My kids can't Snapchat, TikTok. No. You're going to walk up and talk to her. Like, that to me is what we're missing. It's like that uncomfortable building a relationship, right? These kids are scrolling at the dinner table. Like, I can't understand it. And so the boys have to be raised. And this is why it's good that you had me, by women that have this energy and this power and this warrior spirit to step into alignment as a mother, because I'm just going to tell you guys, we are in a crisis right now.
And it's a completely different approach. Your approach is completely different than helicoptering or trying to solve everything for them.
No, I put my kids down the slide when they were 6 months. The moms were like, I'm like, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. They climb the gate, they fall, they play in the dirt, right? They're out there for 5 hours, like, gritty. That grittiness is what creates the resilience. And when you don't have that grittiness, when you don't have that hustle, you don't know how to adapt. And the adaptability is really how you climb in life.
How about you, Devin? One trait every young man needs.
Accountability. I think at the end of the day, accountability has to happen. I think that's a problem with a lot of young men. I always say athletes, a lot of athletes in today's world, they don't have enough accountability. Nobody's holding them accountable. They don't have anybody that's going to push them and hold them accountable when they don't complete a task. They allow them to give up. They don't question them about the task that they didn't complete. So yes, I say accountability.
the biggest mistake modern parents make?
Letting their kids run the show, letting their kids do whatever they want to do, go to sleep when they want to, wake up when they want to, talk back to parents, fail in school, not do the right thing, not stay consistent. So I would say that.
And one thing boys need more of?
Toughness. Boys are weak, they're soft. Emotions get to them a lot. They don't know how to fight when everything is tough. You say one word to them, they get upset, they get in their feelings. So they don't have enough toughness, tough skin. Put them in tough situations, tough environments. They don't even know how to compete. When they feel competition, they don't know what to do. They run, they make excuses. So yeah, toughness and solutions.
Want to thank you guys for getting on here tonight, and you guys shared a lot of valuable insight. I follow both of you, and you just putting out a ton of awesome content on social media. Both of you, a little bit on the controversial side, but all good things that parents need to hear, and especially in society now, people not being able to pivot and move on, and just the old school things that were done for so many years and gotten away from with technology and everything else. I'm glad we had a chance to talk about all this. We know that raising strong sons, it starts at home. It starts with the parents, requires leadership, honesty, and the courage to hold standards, even when the culture pushes the other way. If you are interested in more about high achieving culture, fatherhood, building strong kids, follow me on social media. You can also find the Byronic Heroes podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Also, want to thank Devin and Laura. You can give them a follow on their social media accounts. They're on all the major platforms. Very, very easy to find them. And there's a ton of resources on there. And the culture that they preach, I'm all about it. And if you want a high achieving, successful, elite athlete, you need to follow them and add them to your network of experts. They have tremendous value to offer in this journey that you're on. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and we will speak with you soon.
Appreciate you for having me. Appreciate talking to both of you guys. Thanks.
Bye, Devin.
All right. Good to meet you. Have a good night.
You too.